So, as we were approaching the date of the birth, we actually started to do a little research online. And we ran across something called birth plans. Are you familiar with this? It's basically the do-it-at-home project. You know, these people that say they don't need a hospital, they just do it at the house? It's crazy. I mean, I wasn't that jazzed about having my baby daughter do a cannonball into a plastic Walmart swimming pool in the middle of my living room. Try getting the stains out of that carpet. You know what my wife's birth plan was? A big-ass hospital with lots of doctors and nurses and a lot of drugs. Yeah, so our little girl was born premature. She was a whole month early, so she was actually 5.5 pounds, so a little baby. And it actually reminded me of my parents when they talked about my days as a baby. They said, you know, Eddie, when you were small, you were so tiny, we kept you in a dresser drawer. And I thought, well, crap, that's what stunted my growth. Oh, follow me here. It's like a fish in an aquarium. They're not going to grow any bigger than the aquarium you keep them in. So let me tell you about the amazing day that my baby was born. I don't care how many people tell you, they warn you, they try to prepare you, you're never prepared. For the first time you see that baby. So here we are, everybody's in position. Wife's in position, doctor's in position. I don't know what position to be in. I mean, should it be a catcher stance? I mean, should I go long? I don't know. I don't know what to do here. And finally, the moment arrives, and here she comes. And I'm looking, I'm going, oh my God. Doctor, don't look now, but I think she's coming out ass first. She goes, no, she's supposed to look that way. Great, I'm going to have an ass-faced baby. And here she comes. And what was really crazy is she's coming out all distorted. I'm looking over my shoulder for Sigourney Weaver. She was in the movie Alien, and for the Google it, kids. So finally she comes out, and I'm looking at her, and I want to be proud of this baby, but my God, her head. She had like a foot-long cone head. I said, they don't make hats big enough to cover that. She's gonna need a special helmet. She won't play with the other kids. She's gonna have to ride the short bus to school. Oh, it got all normal and everything. We're good now. So you know, one of the first things the nurses teach you before you leave the hospital is swaddling. You know what swaddling is? So for the younger generation, it's basically taking your baby and wrapping her up, really tight in a blanket. And the day that I left, I was a swaddling ninja. See, I got my training from a white nurse at the hospital. Now, I tell you she was white for a very specific reason. Because of all the analogies that she could have used for swaddling, what did she choose to use with me? Hey. She said, Mr. Lemus. That's what she called me. Mr. Lemus, swaddling's very easy. It's like making a burrito. It's a burrito? Who do you think you're talking to? I mean, should I be offended? She goes, no. It's like making a burrito. Now, make sure you wrap it up real tight and flip up that bottom and get it in real tight. You don't want them beans to fall out now, do you? What do you think you're talking to here? You think this Mexican would ever let the beans fall out? This is a great crowd, guys. So the day you leave the hospital is a very interesting time. So those of you that have experienced it, they basically load all your crap, put your wife and your baby in a wheelchair, and they wheel your happy ass down to the front of the hospital. They put you in the car, they shut the door and say, good luck! I mean, my wife and I are looking at each other, dead silence. What do we do? So wait a minute, you didn't ask us any questions, we didn't take a test. I mean, I'm going down the freeway, 1604, on the shoulder, 10 miles an hour, hazard lights on, going, go around! Go around! So when we finally got settled in at home, somebody had recommended, hey, you ought to have some nude photos done. Do it early, get it out of the way. I thought, that's a great idea. So we went ahead and had some of the baby done too. I mean, she was already there. And you know what's really interesting is everybody has these awesome tips to get your baby to sleep through the night. Sleep through the night. Guess you didn't hear that. So one nurse, before we left, said, you know what? The magic bullet, man. You want your baby to sleep tonight? You need to play white noise for her. That's going to make her sleep like an angel. All right, well, we'll try it. It didn't work. I don't know how many nights I played that Vanilla Ice CD for her. White noise, good. I think it made it worse. See, Vanilla Ice is white, and he makes vanilla. Thank you for everybody that got that. Here's another nurse tip gone bad. So before you feed your child, you want to make sure you boil the nipples real good. And I thought, well, that makes sense. You want it to be sterile. You don't want the baby, you know, all that bacteria or whatever. So guess what? We didn't even make it through one whole nipple boiling session. My wife kept complaining, the water's too hot, the water's too hot. Come on, man up. It's probably all for the best. I mean, I couldn't have her hanging over the stove all that time. Sorry, honey. So let me tell you, breastfeeding though, anybody that's experienced the whole breastfeeding thing, man, I didn't know it was so tough. I didn't know there was an art to getting your kid to latch on and stay on. Damn, my nipples are still sore. So there's all kinds of equipment involved when it comes to breastfeeding. The mainstay though is the breast pump. Y'all familiar with this thing? This medieval contraption, it makes this god-awful noise. And let me tell you, my wife couldn't have just any breast pump. Oh no, she has to have the best. She got a hands-free breast pump. I said, really, honey, hands-free? What's that for? So you can use it while you're driving through a school zone? Oh dear, that's a good one. Hands-free. So let's see, what other, oh yeah, so another warning, another little tip from Guadalupe. So breastfeeding, it goes from nothing coming out of the twins to frickin' Niagara Falls. It was like Oak Farms over at our house. I mean, it got to the point that my wife could take out a target at 50 yards with those things. It's like, honey, there's a fly in the house. I got it. So we got kicked out of 2 or 3 carnivals. You should have seen all the shit we won. See, what other kind of equipment are there? You know, there's the baby monitor. Now, this is a cool little technology tool. Everybody needs a baby monitor. But let me give you a little tip. There's 2 pieces to the baby monitor. There's the listening part of the monitor and the monitoring part of the monitor. Now you want to make sure that the right part gets put in the right room. So the listening part goes in the baby's room and the monitoring part goes in mommy and daddy's room. We had the thing screwed up. I don't know how many months we had them flipped. You know what my real fear is? I'm afraid that my baby's first words are going to be, "Not tonight, honey, I have a headache." So somebody always asks me, hey, you know what, you guys went all this time without any kids. I mean, what's it like having a kid at home? I said, well, I'll tell you, early on, when we had this infant at home, you know, I said, feeding a newborn is a lot like feeding a drunken midget. No, follow me here. They have no head control. And then you're trying to get the bottle in there. And And then you finally get it in, they take a little bit, and they throw up on themselves. All right, you guys got a little uncomfortable when I said midget. But don't worry, I can use the word midget. I have a cousin who's a midget. You know, and the tough thing is he also has epilepsy. Yeah, I know. But you know what? I'm proud of that little guy. Because he doesn't let that hold him back. As a matter of fact, he just opened up a pizza parlor down the street. You might have seen it on the way in. It's called Little Seizures. Little Seizures. Come on, people. You can go to confession on Sunday. Laugh! So let me tell you another interesting thing. New parents are obsessed with poop. Mostly the women, I think. So, you know, early on, testing, 1, 2. Anytime my wife would leave me for any extended period of time with the baby, the minute she got home, she would 20 question me. Did the baby poop? When did she poop? What color was the poop? How many times did she poop? I thought, really? And you know what the really sad part is? It goes full circle. Because just the other day, my mom asked me to take care of my grandpa for the afternoon. So I have a friend of mine who has an older daughter, and he says, you know, there's going to be a stage in their life where they're actually proud of their bowel movements. Well, I can wait for that. Because just the other day, my daughter was yelling from across the house, Daddy, Daddy, I pooped, come look. He finally had to go over there or else she wouldn't be quiet. She goes, what is it, honey? Look, Daddy, I pooped, isn't it great? Yes, honey, it's fantastic. Now get dressed. We got to get to the mall to buy you the prom dress for Saturday's dance. All right, one more interesting contraption with newborns. The baby Bjorn. You guys familiar with this? You basically strap this thing to your body and then the baby kind of hangs in there, you know, with arms and legs hanging out. It sounds pretty cool. It actually reminded me of the first time I went skydiving. Because see, when you go skydiving for the first few times, they make you tandem skydive. Now the guy they paired me up with was 6'5", and I'm 5'4". You do the math. You know, and I used to carry her in there all the time early on in her, after she was born, but then shortly after that, she would start crying uncontrollably. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I said, honey, any idea why she doesn't like being in this Bjorn? She goes, yeah, her feet are dragging, jackass. That was pretty good, come on. So one last little analogy on kids. You know, people say, what's it like having a kid at home? I said, well, you know what? Having a kid is much like the days that when I was in college, and I would, you know, go out with these different girls, or a long time ago, honey. Go out with these different girls, and invariably you'd run into this one college girl who couldn't hold her liquor. You know, so she was always drunk. So getting her into the car was like getting your kid into the car after a full day at the carnival. It goes something like, stop crying. Stop crying. Let go of my leg. Let go of my leg. Where are your shoes? Did you wet your pants? That's my time, everybody. Can we get the rest of the comics up here? For a great cause. We want to thank Zach for the opportunity to do this. We're happy to be here, and we want to wish everyone a great retreat. God bless, and thanks for your time. Have a good evening. Drive home safe.